Here's the thing about the Northman. Part of me likes many aspects of this film, and other parts, it's all Hollywood hype. What's up, guys? It's me, Bobby, and I am back talking about the Northman. This is gonna be my review, and you're probably thinking, why are you reviewing this movie now? That's a good question. Here in Singapore, it's just opening up in the cinemas now, and I think in other parts of Asia. I know in America and Europe, it's already been out. It's already on video on demand. I have no idea why movie studios in 2022 are doing release schedules like this, but it is what it is. But I thought I would give you my 2 cents on the film because after watching a lot of the reviews and watching a lot of the interviews, it suffers from the Hollywood hype machine, which makes you going in expecting a certain movie, but walking out seeing something else that wasn't as grand or as big or as awestruck as what you were expecting it. Anyway, let's get into talking about the Northman. Now, the Northman, of course, is the quintessential Viking movie, as they all say. And to be frank, to be fair to them, I mean, obviously, the only Vikings we've really seen on screen that I can remember in current times is Thor from Marvel. But that's not really a Viking movie per se, right? That's more the gods and all that stuff and Viking mythology. But it's Marvelized. This one is supposed to be very grounded in reality, and they've used they had scholars on set, they had historians looking into making sure this is the most accurate film portraying Vikings we have ever seen. And that's the thing that sucked me into this movie, because I'm a big fan of history, I'm a big fan of these kind of films, and I'm like, yeah, I'm all in, man. I love these kind of raw battles, this visceralness that we see with swords and people just taking each other down. And I mean, I like that stuff, man. I don't know. Some people do, some people don't. I mean, I can take these kind of films, So I was all on board for this. I mean, this is one of my most anticipated films of 2022. It really was. And then, after I watched it, I realized it's basically a 2-hour movie of Vikings. I mean, you got bigger name actors, probably a bigger budget, but it looks and it feels the same as Vikings, except it's 2 hours versus multiple seasons. That's essentially what the Northman is. So if you're going in expecting some Braveheart gladiator kind of film, temper those expectations. This is a much smaller film. It's a film about family, trust, distrust, revenge. It's all about that encapsulated in this small little town or village, whatever you want to call it. And that's where this movie is sort of set. And if you watch Vikings, you kind of understand how the Vikings lived in those times. I mean, when they lived in these towns and these villages, that was their world, that was their kingdom for the most part. I mean, some did, of course, travel beyond into other lands, and that's what Vikings was about, the series. But, for a lot of these people, they just stayed within their area, and that was it. Or they go to various different villages, but that's it. And that's what this film was really. It's a very small film in that regard. Think of it as a Viking independent film. And that's kind of what the Northman is, but it's very brutal and it's got some action into it, which is pretty badass.
Here at Geek Culture, we love our keyboards, especially with the all-new Logitech MX Keys Mini. An elegant and functional keyboard, its ultra-responsive rounded keycaps are super stable and quiet for more productivity. There are buttons to enable dictation, microphone audio control, and emojis. The backlit keys illuminate when you get close and matches the lighting of the environment you're in. It lasts up to 10 days on a full charge or 5 months with the backlights turned off. To find out more about the Logitech MX Keys Mini and their latest range of products, head over to logitech.com.
But yeah, we follow, of course, Amleth, who's played by Alexander Skarsgard. We follow him as a child, who his father is the king of this town or village, played by Ethan Hawke, and who does a phenomenal job. He's not in the film that much because the king gets whacked, and Amleth wants to take revenge on his father's killer, and he promises that this is his life's journey, his life's fulfillment is to take revenge for his father's death. And so he runs away around age 8 or 9 or thereabouts. I don't know the exact age. You can correct me in the comment section below. And we see him 20 some years later, and we see him all jacked up. I mean, jacked up. I mean, it's like he almost watched Pumping Iron for 3 months, hearing Arnold, you can do this, come on, pump it, you got it, you can do it, fantastic. I think that's what a lot more people take out of this film, is how good he looks versus remembering the entire story. Anyway, here's the thing, when we first see his character as an adult, we see him as this berserker, this warrior, this just menace. He's got morals, he doesn't attack children or women, but he is brutal and he's a badass warrior. However, as the film progresses, we see him being less of a warrior and kind of getting his ass handed to him. And then when you get to the climactic scene at the end of it, you're kind of like, dude, where's the guy that we saw from the first part of the movie? What happened to that guy? Is he like, just, I don't know, man. Like, did he drink too much wine or too much alcohol? What happened to this guy? Because he's not the same character, which was one of my issues with the story. I'll talk about other issues as well, but that's one of my main issues with when it comes to Amulet. But Skarsgard did a tremendous job. He's a fantastic actor. He is brutal. He is raw. He is visceral. Robert Eggers, as the director, pulled out some fantastic performances from the actors in this film. And Skarsgard, he just knocked it out of the park. Moving on. Let's talk about Ethan Hawke. As I mentioned, really good. Also has got this rawness and this visceralness. And Ethan Hawke has just become such a great actor as he's got older. He's just this, there's just something about him. I mean, he does a lot of theater and Broadway and all these things, and you can see it in his performance that he takes in this aura of the king in a way that is just, it's beautiful to watch. As an actor myself, I'm just studying him and going, wow, man, this is just really awesome to see. I will tell you this, there's no actor in this film that has done less than a stellar job. Even the smaller actors all did a really good job, and that is a testament to Robert Eggers as the director. And of course, the screenplay as well. Nicole Kidman, really, really good in this. She's a pivotal part to this film. She plays Amulet's mother. I don't want to give much away, but it is a twist that you weren't expecting when you see it happen. Anya Taylor-Joy is in this as well. She's just, I mean, you just watch her on screen and you're just drawn to her. Beautiful performance, and just the way that she pops, she comes alive. I mean, she's a star. She's a star. What are you going to say? All these actors in this film are just, not only are they fantastic performers, but they're stars in their own right. Willem Dafoe also is in this for a brief time, but he's Willem Dafoe. Does he ever do a bad job? No, he doesn't. He's great. We've got Claes Bang. Claes Bang plays Amulet's uncle, or the king's brother. And when you see his IMDb photo, when you see him in the film, these two men are unrecognizable from one another. You can't tell. I mean, he transformed himself to be this Viking that is, he's a great actor, a great performer as well. But not to give away too much of the film, I don't want to spoil it for you guys here, but there is a moment when you see him and Amulet together and you're kind of like going, this doesn't seem like it would go down the way you think it's going in the movie. They just don't seem like a match per se when it comes to the physical prowess. I'll just put it that way. You're trying to make the story go one way, but either you didn't cast the actors correctly physically wise, or you're going to have to dumb down one of the actors to make him match the other actor, which I feel it didn't work in my personal opinion. Outside of that though, the film is interesting. It is very, I mean, I'm not a historian per se, but reading Viking history and all that stuff, I mean, they really did tap into a lot of that. But it does take a turn to mysticism in part of the film, and it not just a little bit of mysticism, but quite a bit, to the point where it does take you out of the story and out of what I think how grounded is as it was. It becomes this, are we looking at a Viking superhero kind of a thing, where he has elements of He-Man? And I'm going to say He-Man because Amulet has this sword that is bestowed upon him to help him revenge his father's death. And it's the sword called the Nightblade. And the Nightblade, I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler here. The Nightblade can only be unsheathed at night to take down his enemy. In the daytime, you can't unsheath it. Nobody can take it out. They're like, oh, they're frustrated. But at night, I have the power! Kind of like a He-Man moment. He doesn't raise it and go Castle of Grayskull and all that stuff. It doesn't happen like that. But it's kind of that world, like you're like going, what are you telling? Are you telling a grounded film? Or are you trying to... So you're kind of at this point where like, are you telling a grounded story here? Or are you trying to tell us something that's mystical and superhero-ish? It's a little bit convoluted in that essence, which throws me for a little bit. So, yeah, to wrap it up, I think The Northman, if you have seen Vikings, you're not going to take anything out of this film that you haven't already seen out of the multiple seasons of Vikings. If you haven't seen Vikings and you're very interested in the Viking history and mythology and how they lived, I think you're going to find this film very enlightening and very satisfying. However, the mysticism aspect of it, you may like or dislike. It's not bad, it's not corny, and it's not cheesy, but it is a little bit, it just takes you out of the story for the most part. Anyway, those are my thoughts on The Northman. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Is this a film you're looking to watch? Have you seen it? Do you agree with me or disagree with me? I'd love to hear from you guys. With that, take care, stay safe. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, like this video, helps us out a lot, and I will chat to you soon. Take care.